as a podcast, it is hard to get sponsors.
It's really hard. I feel like I've dropped a lot of F-bombs. I'm feeling very passionately about this.
For you guys, we do want to grow, and like we want this to be something that you can all get something really useful out of. And we're hoping that all the episodes that we've put out to you guys at the minute, you've gotten something out of as well. But we want to grow this still, and we want it to be something ideally in the future that maybe we'll turn it into an episode a week.
Welcome.
2025.
2025 does have a very nice ring to it, doesn't it?
It does. It does have a very nice ring to it. But we can't move on yet. We need to go back, live, or reflect on what was 2024.
Yeah.
Before we can move into 2025.
I think it'd be good. I'm not personally one that's big on reflections, but I do feel like because this is a new-ish journey or venture for us, that looking back on the year, and also I think, I don't know about you, but I find that I tend to get swept up in like, what's next, what's coming up, and not actually celebrating how far I've come in things.
We had some massive wins last year.
Yeah.
Massive wins.
Yeah.
And for anyone watching today's episode, we will go back over a little bit of 2024.
Exactly.
And also set you guys up for what's in store for 2025.
2025, what Zeb and I both want to get out of the podcast or where the direction's heading, both personally and professionally as well. Yeah. 2025 ins and outs, if you will.
Yeah, pretty much.
Amazing.
If you like the episode, make sure you guys follow or subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on at the minute, and let's get stuck in. Whilst both Maddie and I are healthcare practitioners, we understand that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to healthcare. Should you require any medical attention, please seek out your local healthcare practitioner.
We'd like to take a break from today's episode to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, Drip Digital. They manage all of our audio and video editing as well as our social media marketing. Without them, the We Don't Know Yet podcast wouldn't be possible. So thank you again.
Mate, quick episode today.
Quick ep. I think it's good. Most of our eps tend to go for the 40, 50 minute mark, which is great.
For those of you that have made it through some of our hour and 30-minute episodes.
Well done.
Well done.
Well done. Hats off to you. Kudos. A big fat kudos all around. That is good. I think about podcasts I listen to, and I honestly opt for the shorter ones because my attention span can't deal.
Mind you though, I've listened to a few Huberman ones, a few Chris Williamson ones, a few Stephen Bartlett ones, 2-hour podcasts, 2.5-hour podcasts.
And this is not a drive-by on any of those podcasts because they're brilliant. Huberman, I've listened same to some 3-hour ones, but yeah, they get a bit...
You got to chunk them up.
Yeah, they get a bit tedious, don't they? Goodness.
But for those of you that love the hour-and-a-half podcasts, we're still going to have some in the mix.
You. Absolutely. We're going to mix some things up this year. Zeb and I really sat down last week to sort of nut out what we want to do with the podcast, where we want to take it, and we can't give away too much yet. We're going to leave you hanging on the edge of your seat.
Yeah.
But just know that we're going to shake things up a little bit, if you will.
100%. And, you know, we kind of sat down very start of 2025, and the whole purpose of this episode is to kind of reflect on where we came from in 2024, even how much we progressed from 2023 when we first started things up on the back end of that year.
100%.
And, you know, where we're actually headed to next.
Yeah. I know that we did a bit of a Spotify Wrapped a post earlier or late last year, I should say.
Yeah.
Do you want to pull up the metrics?
Yeah, I was about to say, I'd be really intrigued to have a little bit of a look and see kind of what that looks like. I should have had it all prepped before we actually fired up. But that's okay. But yeah, we posted the Spotify Wrapped, and honestly, we were so chuffed with the response that we'd gotten, you know, over the last year of the podcast in general. I think across the year, I can't actually remember how many episodes we did. I think we took it from 11 episodes all the way through until 32.
You're asking the wrong person.
Yeah.
You're the
so, you know, like across the year there, like almost 20 new episodes itself. Yeah. But some of the metrics we looked at, like that we're so happy with was we had kind of a plus 281% listener base, plus 478% follower base just in 2024. And yeah, like they're huge numbers for any podcast. And, you know, obviously we're still we feel like small fish still, even though we've been in the game for like now a year and a bit.
Yeah. People love an underdog though. We're the underdog of the, you know, health podcast niche world.
Yeah. Dude, I'm actually just looking. So the top episode for 2024
Drum roll,
was
please.
Beyond the Hormone Hype with Dr. Izzy Smith.
Which was a doozy. If you haven't listened to it yet, please go back. Dr. Izzy is such a powerhouse. She's very knowledgeable. Yeah. I found it really interesting, I should say. A bit biased because I'm a female, but yeah, it was good.
Yeah, well, even I was biased because I was in love with that episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, mate, like massive changes last year, like huge progress. I think for us, we were kind of a bit worried about where we were headed towards, and there were some big unknowns. We'd moved into a new space. We'd tried some new, essentially scripts or experimented some different things in different episodes, like segments and all that kind of stuff. And they're all things that we've kind of done now that we can learn from and bring into 2025 as well.
Absolutely.
But it wasn't all sunshines and daisies for us in 2024 either, hey?
No, there were some fuck ups. There were a lot of fuck ups.
There were some big fuck ups. I think every guest has like heard us tell the story of how we forgot to hit the record button or the laptop died halfway through recording one of the episodes. We were kind of sitting there. We had a
guest. We brought a guest out for this episode.
Shout out to Vu.
Didn't fucking record.
I know.
I still get so annoyed when I think about it.
Honestly, but it's like one of those things that you don't know until it happens. And like that was the biggest thing about last year. It was kind of learning all the ins and outs of, right, like this is the process you need to have in place.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you tick all these little check boxes before the episode starts, smooth sailing.
Diamonds are made under pressure, guys.
Yeah, yeah.
And the best part was it was like, I think the first time it was my fuck up, then it was your fuck up. And I couldn't be angry at you because I had just fucked up. So it was like, we're even.
We're just like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah, we're both just a bunch of idiots. It's fine.
But, you know, the coolest thing about that whole experience was, I think, just learning the ins and outs of them being like, right, we need to properly put a bit of a game plan in place
100%.
for recording days. And especially when we have guests in studio, because we didn't do as many, you know, just you and I podcast episodes as we'd originally thought last year.
Yeah.
But,
Absolutely.
you know, the majority of the time having guests in here, it is that whole scenario of like these guests are doing us a massive solid coming out and chatting with us.
For sure.
We want to make sure this, in the depths of the Shire. We want to make sure this experience is, you know, as good as it can be for them. And, you know, we got some really good feedback from them as well, which was fantastic. But yeah, definitely learned a few lessons along the way there too.
And for those that are unfamiliar with the podcast game as well, usually in this sort of setup, or most podcasts that I can think of, they have a producer or at least somebody in the set with them when they are recording to make sure that things essentially, you know, don't fuck up. But it's, you know, not the case for us.
Just
it's
us.
Zeb and I. And believe it or not, I know that obviously the quality of this podcast is just so outstanding. You might not believe
phenomenal.
this.
It's absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, but podcasting is pretty new to us. We both work full-time clinical jobs. So having to learn all of this, having to also make sure that nothing fucks up mid-recording while actually talking and being literate, which doesn't always come to me at the best of times. It's not a walk in the park.
Yeah. We're going to go through and get all the bloopers of our fuck-ups across the year. I see. We keep saying we need to do a bloopers reel, but man, we're just like thinking about the hours of footage we have to go through to find all these. That's what I said today. As of today, when we had our first fuck up this morning, we're making little notes at the end of the scripts where the bloopers are in the videos.
Yeah, 10 seconds in for me, this one.
But like we learned heaps last year. And to be honest, like I probably, based on just our original trajectory and our thoughts as to where we would be now, I think we were kind of thinking, oh, this is going to be a walk in the park and super easy.
So naive we were.
Yeah, we very quickly found out that it's a lot more difficult to run a podcast on the side of full-time work than it is, you know, spending 100% of the time in this game.
Well, look, we could have made it a walk in the park, but we likely wouldn't be where we are today, rather.
Yeah, exactly.
And we wanted to make the quality as best possible, which I know I'm blowing a lot of smoke up our own asses, but it's true. We didn't want to half-ass it.
I know, and there's been a lot of effort that's gone into getting the quality where it is today too. You know, like Kenny and the team, they're always on to us about something new and different each week that can just get us 1% better or one
percenters.
Yeah, we actually have a little tab in our planning folder with the Drip Digital team, and it's a 1%er tab, which is awesome.
Motivation.
But you know, not just managing podcast stuff, managing life outside of here too. Like you traveled last year.
I did travel. I had almost 2 months off, which honestly is so depressing that I don't really even remember it.
Yeah.
But it was great. It was fantastic.
Don't remember it.
No, my memories, I have a goldfish memory, and I'm not trying to pathologize, but I do think it is in part an ADHD thing. But also, again, what I was saying earlier, I just never stop and like look back and remember all the good times, which is my little goal for this year as well.
Yeah, good. Nice. Have you got any other goals for this year? We should probably talk about goals for this year. I mean, not just like on the podcast, but like from a personal capacity too.
Yeah, personal goals this year, I guess. Would you call these like 2025 ins, if you will?
Let's go for 2025 ins and outs.
2025 ins and outs. All right, how many am I giving?
I don't know. You can just give, let's say maybe like start with a couple.
Okay,
let's start with
I'll
two.
start with like two or three. 2025 ins this year, slowing down and like enjoying life a little bit more. Like, yeah, just remembering that it doesn't always have to be so hustle culture, which again, I think is also a big Sydney thing. Sorry, Sydney, don't come at me. Another goal would be to spend more time with family, actually. Some of my relos are getting a little bit older and I've just watched a few like sad docos at the moment. So I'm like, fuck, I need to spend more time with my grandparents, like my older like relatives. So that's a big one. And also to get married. Like, fuck yeah, I'm so excited.
Like that is a massive 2025 goal.
And again, because there's so much fucking going on, it's hard to really remember how significant that is. So get hitched, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. How's the wedding planning going?
It's going. We did a lot last year. But then I didn't want to think about it for a few months. But now that the news rolled around, I'm like, right.
It's actually down the road.
Yeah, I need to kind of get some things sorted. And like, obviously you don't have this issue, but for anyone listening that is familiar with the wedding dress game, you have to put an order in 8-9 months at least in advance, which is fucking wild.
That is stressful.
Let alone spending thousands and thousands of dollars on a dress for one fucking day. But that's okay.
It's a special day.
I despise the wedding industry. No, I'm really excited though. And 2025 outs, burnout. Burnout. Not prioritizing like movement and just the things that I enjoy. And you know, sometimes I'm like, but I have to send that one email. I can't go for a walk tonight. Fucking stupid. And getting out of nature more as well, because I love nature and I find it really good for my mental health.
Is that an out?
Oh, no, fuck. Sorry, that's an in.
I was like, whoa, hang on a second.
Yeah, sorry, 2025 out. The final one would be shit sleep.
Yeah, nice.
See your shit sleep.
Yeah, you're in a real dilemma there because you've also acquired in last year a little puppy, a little human.
I know, I'm a little Walter Burrito. That's his little name. I don't know where it came from. Jack's like, why the fuck do you call him Walter Burrito?
It's because he wraps up in the doona and the sheets at home. Maddie rocked up to Pilates today and she was like, because we do Pilates now. That's a thing.
Pilates fan.
Pilates. Anyway, she rocked up to Pilates this morning and she was like, oh my God, I almost didn't come this morning again because Walter is just wrapped up in bed.
He's so cute. Yeah, look, we did start off saying that we were going to crate train him. It's not going to.
It's never going to happen.
And there comes a point in time, Zeb, and I don't know if kids will be the same. Probs not. I have no idea what it is involved with raising a child, nor do I want to at this point. But there comes a point in time where I'm like, I just need sleep. I can't listen to you yap for an hour. Yes. Anyway, over to you. 2025 ins and outs. What do you have?
2025 ins. Nice. Well, ins, we're going to go for travel. That's a big one.
Yeah, big on the agenda this year.
Yeah, we would like to. We would love to get overseas. Gabby is from her family's from Italy.
Oh, that was so bad.
Italiano.
Not yours, mine.
Yeah, but no, her family's from Italy, but we're not angling to get there at all this year. We're actually thinking about waiting for her parents to get back over there because her dad speaks Italian and she's got some family over there and they speak Italian, not too much English. So we're like, all right, well, maybe we'll cross that bridge at a later date. But yeah, we would love to get overseas in general, just go over, see Europe. We've got weddings galore this year. So travel for weddings is looking like it's going to be a really fun narrative to see through.
Yes.
Maybe. I might be doing my celebrancy training.
I thought you were going to say I might be getting married. No. I was like, what?
Whoa, you're like, that is a huge drop on the podcast.
Yeah.
Does Gabby know? Does Gabby
know? Is Gabby aware? Yeah. You would be a great celebrant.
Yeah, well, so that might be a new thing to, add to the CV, 2025 in. But yeah, so travel, being a celebrant.
Love that.
And then I think just really leaning into to work this year. Like, I've lent into work the last few years, but I think trying to start the podcast up.
Yeah,
there's all this kind of like you're going in and out of that clinical mindset a little bit. So, this year I'm pretty dialed in to lock in, do a bit more PD, try and upskill a bit, and just really finesse the clinical game and work out how I want to practice. Because I've spoken to a lot of people now, and I think that every clinic is so different.
Yeah,
and I love the clinics that I work at, and I think they have really good systems there. But yeah, it's just about trying to, I suppose, find what works best for me in terms of like how quick I want to work throughout the day.
Yep.
and all that kind of stuff. So
and you and I are pretty early on in our careers. I think last year there was a lot of projects in the air and like we were more or less running around like headless chooks.
I think that's a big thing, you know, like trying to have a bit of a game plan for the year. So
clarity.
Ins are let's go for clarity. That's good. So I would say, you know, travel, being a celebrant, and then just having some clarity on some work goals and things like that across the year.
Beautiful.
And outs I think would be, and this is going to sound really like silly, but it probably doesn't sound silly, but burning out to the point where like I'm just kind of lazy and like getting through the weekends. Like I want to make sure that I'm out exploring New South Wales and doing things on other weekends instead of just falling into the eat, sleep, work, repeat kind of cycle.
100.
You know, we probably burnt out a lot towards the back end of last year.
Oh, fuck yeah. We were both like zombies.
Yeah. And it was a huge thing for us on the back end of last year. I remember coming in here actually and sitting down with you. We had an episode to film together and we're kind of sitting there just going, dude, like work is hectic. We're taking some time off over Christmas. Like I'm just like burnt out because we're just trying to get through the end of the year. We haven't really had a break. Like we went to Bali late last year, but then we didn't really stop until Christmas.
Yeah.
I think just making the most of the weekends instead of, you know, feeding that burnout cycle.
Yeah.
Kind of like you.
That's it as well. Like when you're burnt out, the last thing you want to do is go and socialize and do new things on the weekend. I don't know about you, but I'm like, I just want to retreat.
Yeah. Yeah. So getting away, whether it's getting away or I think as well, you know, like filling my cup up like with seeing people still, but just being really specific with it and not feeling pressured to do everything, like really kind of, clarity. Clarity is going to be the word of the day.
Yeah.
And then other outs, I don't know what I'll have to think of my other outs because I can't really think of any others at the minute.
Yep.
Me and Gabby had this conversation the other day. We want to sit down and do like a big planning day for the year just because I feel like it's trending at the minute, you know, a bit of like vision boarding and manifesting. And I was like, yeah, I could get into that.
It's a cool little activity as well.
Yeah, and I think when you see things that you want to achieve across the span of a year, like you're more likely to really get motivated and work towards them a little bit. So
absolutely. Jack and I did that and we were on the beach actually and we did it and it was his idea. I was quite surprised. He's like, can we, you know, both sort of talk about what we want to do this year and write out some goals each. So we did that and I've got it on the little notes app on my phone. But I think visual's nice when you have it like plastered somewhere and like, it's cool.
I agree. But yes, so that's that probably caps things off for me. But you know, we both touched on burnout. How are you kind of feeling on the back end of last year? Because we both kind of sat down and we were kind of like, oh, dude, things are not going as we had thought in terms of just like the podcast. We're grinding, like work, we're grinding. Yeah. How did you kind of unpack after a bit of time off at Chrissy, like 2024?
Chrissy was good. Like, it starts off so negative. It was good. Like, it was good. And I had some time off and I didn't really think about work for 2 weeks, which was lovely, even though I probably should, but you know, I need that break. Went down the coast with the fam for like 4 or 5 days, which was really nice. And then went further down the coast with some friends and that was good. I love my friends. But I think it is hard because we are all at very different stages in life. So Jack and I are the only couple without kids or the only couple that's not expecting a child in the next 3 months. And I am over the moon for my friends and so happy for them. But I do find it's hard to relate to them and have conversations that they're all having. And it's so nice that they have people, you know, who are there that they could bounce things off, you know, being a mother, new time mother and things like that. Yeah. But then I guess if I am being quite selfish thinking about from my end, it made me feel a bit isolated.
Yeah.
But not to be so doom and gloom. Like it was still really lovely and it was really nice. And coming into the working year, feeling good, but also trying to stop the cycle of the same shit happening year over, you know, over and over again. So trying to, as you said, balance out work and play a little bit better.
Yeah. And like podcast orientated wise last year too, like what are some of the challenges that you think we faced last year? That's kind of where I was going. But, you know, like we'll start with the Chrissy period. It's more like session. After having a big reflection at Christmas, like what are some of the challenges that you reckon we kind of faced last year? Because, you know, both you and I kind of thought this was going to be a real walk in. I won't lie. We thought it was going to be a walk in the park.
100%.
We were like,
it's
look,
easy.
like we're in a studio now. Like we're going to be super chill. Like this is going to be easy. We're going to get sponsors. Like it's going to be great. Let's just keep moving.
Yeah.
And then like we kind of, after we moved into the new space, we got progressing and we like the episodes have been great and the listener base has been great. But we're kind of now at that stage where
we need money.
Yeah, and it's not even that. It's more like where this is something that we really enjoy doing outside of our usual day-to-day work, and it's an expense for us because it is something that we're choosing to do, not necessarily something that we're being paid to do.
Yeah.
We have expenses like as part of the podcast.
We'll also help with the podcast's growth.
Yeah, and that I suppose is where I look at it from. It's like, we're looking at we've just started our little sponsorship series now, but
check us out on Instagram.
Yeah, have a look at the Insta. But we're that's already seen some really, really, really great reception. We've already had a few people reach out to us, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, like now we're kind of headed in the direction of like, right, what can we offer people in terms of like the podcast itself offering to businesses or companies? And then what can we offer to our viewers as well? And one of the big things that we'll touch on across the sponsorship series is we don't just want to get into bed with people that don't share our, ideologies or our ethos or our kind of mindset. We want to be like on the in with people or companies that, we really respect, we use, like people that, like
people that are legit incredible. Like we're a health podcast. We are both regulated by our own regulatory bodies professionally. We're not going to, sponsor, I don't know, fucking alcohol brands and shit like that.
Yeah, legit. But, like as a podcast, it is hard to get sponsors.
It's really fucking hard. I feel like I've dropped a lot of F-bombs. I'm thinking very passionately about this. I guess the biggest challenge is, it was sort of like seeing the longevity in this podcast and really enjoying doing it with you. Like you are one of my really good friends, but then also feeling the pressure financially to, make more money basically to pay the mortgage, do things like that. Yeah. And, it is a significant chunk that we do take out in the week. But in saying that, I think as well, I found as a result that personally I probably got a little bit complacent with things. So that's what I would like to change this year. Yeah. Put this more to the forefront of my priorities.
Yeah, and it's hard. Like we were making comments on the fact that, for people that are really in this game full time, like, we could see how you could progress really quickly in this space. But for us, like doing some of the work on the side that we love doing and then having this as a hobby or a venture that we're really enjoying at the minute.
Side hustle.
Yeah, it's been growing and the growth has been exponential, but it's just a little bit slower probably than what we had anticipated, only doing, and you know what, everything I've taken from last year, challenges and everything accounted for, we still last year put out an episode every 2 weeks for the entire year.
And we were so fucking consistent even when I had 2 months off work.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like you're away for a full 2 months, and like if you're a listener or someone that was just like, yep, I need to log on Monday or on Monday night or on Tuesday morning to see what they posted as an episode last year.
Yeah.
You would have had an episode there waiting for you every fortnight.
Yeah, we've been pretty good.
Yeah, which was nuts. And I thought it was fantastic just considering that, even though, we had faced some challenges in terms of like that whole burnout cycle and feeling like we were a little bit stuck in the mud. Once we actually like took a step back and looked at our metrics and looked at everything, it was kind of like, shit, we're actually still growing.
430 something%, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I think in terms of like a general follower base, like across some of the social media stuff, like we're up heaps too.
Yeah. We've done well. What about you? What are your challenges?
I think the challenges are probably pretty well summarized there. Like I think, finding time to make sure that we're able to like invest in this was really difficult last year. And it's probably something that like trying to account for this year is making sure that I've got some blocks throughout the week that are dedicated to the podcast. Because, for you guys, we do want to grow and like we want this to be something that you can all get something really useful out of. And we're hoping that all the episodes that we've put out to you guys at the minute, you've gotten something out of as well. But we want to grow this still and we want it to be something ideally in the future that, maybe we'll turn it into an episode a week and you guys will have something to listen to each episode, each week, which would be fantastic. But I think in order for that to happen for us, we've probably got to be really good at being on top of our day-to-day lives. and be really prepared from a sense of having the capacity to film and record and edit and do all that kind of stuff.
2025 in time blocking.
Yeah, time blocking. We spoke about that a bit. Hey,
it's something I literally have started at the start of the year for the past 2 or 3 years. Do I follow it? No, I don't. Maybe that's my in.
Maybe you need to get one of those AI bots that just time block your entire week.
Is there such a thing? We'll talk offline.
Maybe. What's it called? Notion AI?
Oh, I use Notion, not the AI version.
Okay. I swear they have an AI version or Notion. I swear Notion has, maybe it's not Notion, maybe it's something else. We'll have a look and we'll talk about it offline.
Love it. And I guess with that as well, I think it could be good just to finish on, I should say, I guess what direction we're going to take the pod in this year, because as Zeb touched on earlier, majority of the episodes last year were that interview style episode with like a, health and wellness expert, which is fantastic. And we still want to do that, but we also do want to shake things up a bit. So do you want to share a little bit more about what that's going to look like?
Well, so next year, I think we're looking at...
This year?
Sorry, forget we're in 2025. Don't worry,
I keep writing 2024.
I've written 2024 on every single one of our podcast planning things. So now that you've reminded me of that, I have to go back and change it.
Yep.
Yeah, well, this year, so style-wise, like we're going to probably do a few more episodes with just you and I, which I think would be really good.
Zeb Maddi
and something
episodes.
that, we just missed out on, and just, like, I enjoy just coming and talking dribble to you.
Yeah, it's good. And, like, we both obviously are friends offside, so it's not awkward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then within the episodes as well, we've got some really exciting segments planned for 2025.
100%.
And our goal for this year is to get you guys really involved in the episodes as well. So we don't just want it to be us and the guests talking within the episodes or us talking within the episodes.
Yeah.
We want to have some sort of community engagement or involvement as well this year. So
name TBC. If you can think of a good name, let us know.
Yeah, we're looking for a name for a segment, so holler at us.
Or name even for the community. It's really hard because can't really call them anything inappropriate because we're a health podcast, but health wankers.
Knowers.
I don't know. Oh yeah, the knowers, the thinkers,
the not knowers.
Yeah,
I don't know.
We'll think about it, but
we don't know yet.
Send us a DM on Instagram if you can think of anything, for sure. Oh, honestly, I've been racking my brain for months, but can't think of anything.
I just had my own punny moment.
What? What did you do?
I said we don't know yet.
That's an slapper.
Dad joke. Just side story there. I'm not a dad though.
That we know of. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. But yes. So segments incoming.
Segments incoming. We'll obviously announce them in our next Zeb and Maddi episode. But actually, stay tuned for our Instagram where we'll probably be dropping one of them in the next week or so, because that one does heavily feature you guys. So stay tuned.
And we would love some engagement.
Yeah, please message us.
Please message us.
Please message us. But yeah, so I guess, more stuff for you guys, more community engagement.
Yeah,
making this
giveaways.
Giveaways. Fuck yeah, so many giveaways. Look at me dropping bombs.
Love it.
Yes, so as Zeb said, different episode style formats.
Yes.
And segments.
Yeah.
Just lost my train of thought there.
Yes, but that is the updated look for 2025, and more guests.
More
guests, bigger topics.
Guests.
That's it. And we're hoping that we can bring you guys some pretty big guests to, sit down with and hear from as well across the span of this year.
And with that as well, drop in the comments, send us a DM, send us an email, whatever, if you do want to have any particular guest on or learn about a particular topic of health, because that would be really nice.
Yeah, 100%.
All right.
Dude, I think that kind of covers everything we were looking to give the people an insight into.
Absolutely. And with that as well, thank you so much, guys, who have been following us from the start or, last year at any point in time, because you do really mean the world to us. And that is why we do what we do, because we love it. We obviously love chatting with one another, but we love also, making the barrier or breaking down rather the barriers to good health one episode at a time.
Thanks for listening to this week's podcast.
Be the first to know when the next episode drops by hitting subscribe on wherever you catch your podcasts.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at wedon'tknowyet.pod.
See ya.